budget, Medicaid cuts, and how it'll affect Delaware County hospitals. People have to travel quite a distance just for basic maintenance care, let alone emergencies. And I'm wondering why the big beautiful bill passes with these cuts. Like, isn't this a concern in other districts as well? Why aren't other congressmen concerned about this on the other side?
Let me give my hypothesis for why that's happening, and then just make one other point. I think Washington, D.C. is corrupt as hell. Yeah. And people from both parties don't like me coming around and saying we've got to get rid of Citizens United and get the dark and dirty money out of our politics. We've got to ban make our democracy work for people. And this is an example of it, because you know who benefits from $3.4 trillion in tax cuts? Are the wealthiest folks and the biggest corporations in this country. There's a chart that you can find that shows how the benefits and cuts in this bill are distributed, and it's literally a chart for the top 10% going up, for the middle doing nothing, and for the bottom going down. And then you can draw a line from who's benefiting from what to who has how many lobbyists and how many super PACs. That's why I don't take any corporate PAC money. I don't meet with anybody in my office who's not from upstate New York. So I think that's part of it. But here's the good news. There are folks, all of you came out tonight. You know, you didn't have to do this, and we are in a pretty scary, challenging time. And I love you for coming out. And I know there are folks in other congressional districts who are coming out and making their voices heard too. And at some point, these people have to realize that their political careers are not worth closing down rural hospitals. And in fact, if they want to save their political careers, they got to start doing right by people for once, instead of just doing what's right by the corporate PACs. So I just want to, we talked about the bill. Just if I could, just take 1 second to say this. We talked about a lot of the work I feel like I've been doing in Washington over the last 5 months is playing defense and fighting back against things that would hurt upstate New York. I have a vision for, and this is important, I don't think it's enough to just say what we're against. I think it's really important, and I owe it to you to tell you what we're for and what my vision is. And so when it comes to healthcare, particularly in our rural communities, I think we should reimagine our schools as part of the healthcare delivery system. I want to invest in mental health counselors in the schools. Nurses in our schools, basic dental care, because exactly what you said, the number of parents I've talked to who have to take their kids out of school, drive 2 hours for an appointment that they just waited 3 months for, drive 2 hours back, mom and dad just lost a day's wages, the kid just lost a day of school, and there's no reason we shouldn't have that available to them right down the street. We have a massive shortage of providers and nurses in our rural communities. My vision is that we are investing and giving that the value that it actually has. In my vision for what healthcare looks like, being a doctor or a nurse in rural America is the best job you can possibly get, because you're paid well, you got a good quality of life, and we have to make those kinds of investments. And at the end of the day, my view on all of this, we're talking about cutting billions of dollars of healthcare from people. Healthcare should be a civil right in this country.
My name is Gary Rosa. I'm running for re-election for Delaware County Family Court Judge. I am a native of Delaware County, having been born and raised here in the town of Middletown, in the Arkville area. As a family court judge, I primarily handle child abuse, child neglect, and child custody matters. I've also been an acting county court judge for the past 10 years, handling major criminal matters. And I am the treatment court judge for Delaware County, dealing with adult and family treatment court. I was born in Delaware County. Actually, both sides of my family go back many generations in Delaware County. I'm as homegrown as you can get here.
Yay, Margaretville.
Yes. I have the honor of being the first elected family court judge in Delaware County.
Prior to that, there was not a dedicated family court judge. So in 2015, when I was elected, I became the very first one. And the good fortunes have smiled on me. I don't have an opponent this year. So rather than give a political speech, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it means ethically to be a judge in New York State. Because frankly, folks, it blows my mind that the Supreme Court of the United States does not have an ethics code. Judges in New York State, from the chief judge down to the smallest town or village judge, all have a code of ethics that we have to live by. And some of you, especially folks that haven't heard me talk before, may wonder, well, why do we only see you when you want our vote? It's because of that ethics code. As a judge in New York, I am prohibited from engaging in any and all political activity other than being able to vote, except during a specific time when I'm running for election. That's true of every judge in New York State. Okay? I can't endorse candidates, I can't endorse causes, I can't even anonymously donate money. There's a reason for that. The reason is that judges, to be a judge, to be fair and to be objective, is not to be political. It's to follow the law. It's to apply the law to the facts in every single case. You know, there's a reason that you see the blindfold on Lady Justice, because it doesn't matter what somebody's political beliefs are when they come before you in court. It does not matter the color of their skin. It does not matter what religion they practice. It does not matter what their sexual orientation is. That's not what it means to be a good and fair judge. That's not what it means, or that's what it means to be a good and fair judge, to do these other things, to play favorites, to play, to decide a case in favor of somebody for political reasons, and we see that, is wrong. That's not what justice is. Think about it, folks. Go home and look in the dictionary at the word justice. That's what judges are supposed to do, to be objective. And in Delaware County, the reality I made this comment earlier to someone because I'd made this observation this week. Had an attorney who's moved up here from the city, and this is not a criticism, it's just an observation. He's still practicing like he's practicing in New York City, where basically everybody's anonymous. In Delaware County, basically everybody knows everybody or has a connection to somebody. I might not know you, but I might know the same person that you know. There's always a connection. This is a small town. It's a geographically big area, but it's a small town. And that's the importance of ethics, I think, is so that judges remember that. Judges have what I refer to as a disease sometimes. It's called the black robe syndrome. You never want to forget who you are and what you are supposed to be doing. That black robe doesn't mean anything, okay? It always bothered me when I first took the bench that people who I know and have been friends with a long time call me judge. In the courthouse is fine, but I'm still the same person I always was, and that's important for us to remember. You will see, I'm sure all of you have probably seen me criticized about treatment court in the press. You'll never see me respond to that because that is beneath what a judge should do. And just, when we talk about it being a small town, I'm a family court judge. I was elected family court judge. On day one, I was made an acting county court judge, meaning I still handled criminal matters. I, shortly after that, was named the treatment court judge, where I handled the drug treatment court. I was appointed a few years later than that by the presiding justice of the appellate division to chair the advisory committee on attorneys for children. In the 3rd Judicial Department, that means that we are talking about from the south of I guess, Sullivan County, Ulster County, to the Canadian border, from the Massachusetts-Vermont line, basically west to Syracuse. And I was just recently appointed by the Chief Judge of the state to a statewide committee on alternatives to dispute resolution. So you wear a lot of hats in a small town. But to do that and to do it right, you have to go back to the ethics. Any attorney worth their salt will always remember that, and that's especially important to judges. So I'm appalled that our federal bench doesn't have that, but we do here. So be thankful for that, folks. The only last thing I want to say is I want to echo what Dan said. Especially, you think you need help getting those signatures running for town? Run for a countywide seat, where you got to get 1,000 signatures or whatever it is. It was amazing the day that we collected those signatures to see people coming in from all of the other areas. One person told me, and she will remain nameless, but she came in and she said, you know, I hate judges, I hate lawyers, but I got 44 signatures for it. You do have a great committee, and it is your first line of defense, folks. Be proud of the people you have locally, because they really do. They really do a great job. And we'll be out here at 5 o'clock. Thank you, folks.
Hi, my name is Kristen Anton. I'm running for Meredith Town Council, along with Michael Morganfrew and Stephanie Monroe, who is running for Town Supervisor in Meredith. And I'm running for this seat because I feel like building community in Meredith is really important right now. And I want all the residents of Meredith to be more informed of what's happening and to be more involved in making decisions for the town.
Hi, I'm Dan Gashler, and I'm running for Delhi Town Council. I've lived in Delhi for 10 years, and one of the reasons I'm running is because in the 10 years that I've lived here, I've found this to be an incredibly welcoming, progressive, and good place to raise my kids. And I'm running because 2 long-serving council members are stepping down, and I feel the call to rise up and fill their shoes. So I'm a history professor at SUNY Delhi. I have a background in agriculture and construction mining. So I'm planning to work on the highway committee and the personnel committee. I also currently serve in my SUNY Delhi United University Professions Union. And so I want to bring some of my personnel work to the personnel committee. And I love Delhi, and I'm very excited to be serving here.
So next we have Dr. Simon Purdy, who is a college professor of criminal justice, a father of 3 awesome kids, and a local beekeeper. He is a proud member of the Delhi community, and he is running for a seat on the Delhi Town Council this year. Let's welcome Simon.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for giving me the chance to come out here and speak with you all today. I'd like to start by saying that I'm under no illusion that we are, or ever have been, a perfect nation. But we certainly have some foundations that are worth fighting for, which I'm pretty sure is why most all of you are out here today. The early Americans who declared and fought for our independence and later wrote our Constitution did get a few things right, despite their many flaws. They knew that this country was no place for a king, that power must be shared, that due process must be upheld for everyone, and that the freedom to speak our minds, to protest, to worship, and to associate how we see fit was fundamental to making sure we never slid backwards into another monarchy. In the years that followed, slowly but surely, we improved on these ideals in a long and often painful march forward to a slightly more perfect union. We're not there yet, but we're on the way. As we've seen in recent days, however, these constitutional protections upon which our freedoms stand aren't completely safe from corruption and abuse. And make no mistake, the constitutional crisis we've all been talking about is already here. A power-hungry narcissist who occupies the office of president and who is surrounded by no checks, no balances, and a bunch of yes men, no respect for the Constitution, and a fourth estate that only cares about headlines can quickly plunge peaceful communities into chaos. And make no mistake about it, in this political environment, everyone is at risk. Those of us who stand in opposition, those who take no stand at all. Those on the front lines in these unlawful immigration raids, and those of us further afield. And while it might not feel like it right now, even those who, for the time being, are in support of our wannabe king. All of us stand to lose, and far too many already have. With eroded due process protections and First Amendment rights, you don't have to be an extremist in order to be treated like one. You only have to make His Majesty unhappy while he tweets from his golden throne or attempts to rule from his golf course. This lack of rights for anyone is a threat to us all. And this is the downside of my speech. This is the uplifting part. And this is where we come in. Whether it's on the streets of Los Angeles or right here in rural Delhi, we are the Constitution's most vital line of defense. When many elected and appointed officials have abdicated their power to rein in this madness, it is up to us, in the streets, in our families, in our communities, to resist, to call out injustice, to put up roadblocks to tyranny, to build resilience, to melt some icy hearts, and to remind these cowards that in this country, we the people are the ones who reign. Now, I wish I could tell you that this is going to be an easy path, and I think most of us already know that it is and has been and will continue to be a struggle. But I am 100% certain that we're on the right side of history here. In solidarity with those who came before us, we must continue the fight. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the only option, and not a difficult choice. Any day of the week, I would rather stand with those who ran the Underground Railroad than with those who were chasing slaves. I'd rather stand by the women and civil rights pioneers who won the rights to vote and to be equal than those who blocked the polls, schools, and lunch counters. I'd gladly stand next to those brave soldiers, like my grandpa, who answered the call and went overseas to fight fascism and end a genocide, rather than those who goose-stepped in lock order with that kind of evil. And I'd rather stand with those who rose up and declared their pride, their identity, and their humanity, rather than those who would push it all back in the closet. Any single day. And this right here is what makes us great. Our history, the good and learning from the bad. Our struggles, our ability to live these lives we have created. While all of us, and all of this is surrounded by a ton of uncertainty, one thing I am certain of is that I'm super glad to be in this fight alongside all of you. And so, as we get ready to hit the streets here, we move forward with our continued activism. And as has been mentioned, we're already starting to see some improvements here. We're making a difference. The fight continues. We can rebuild what has been violated and create policies, systems, and communities that do an even better job at securing freedom, equality, and justice. While there are sure to be plenty of pitfalls, setbacks, and threats, there is so much more that is good out here. Take a look around you right now. Do it. Look around you. Take stock of what we are fighting for. Our families, our kids, our neighbors, our nation, and that crazy idea laid out almost 250 years ago that we can run our own damn lives. All right, this is my finish. I'd like to end with a little poem. Now, fair warning, I'm not a professional poet, so here we go. There once was a man from Nantucket. I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. Sing it out, loud and proud. Let this message ring. From the valleys to the seas, from the forests to the plains, and especially up here in the mountains, we don't need a king.
Hi, I'm Glenn Faulkner. I'm running for re-election for the position of town supervisor for the town of Middletown.
I'm Robin Williams, and I'm running for re-election for my position on the town council for Middletown.
I'm Colleen Martin. I'm also re-running for town council for the town of Middletown.
I am really excited to be running for the board with these two individuals that are standing with me, Glenn and Colleen. I think it has been such a breath of fresh air to be serving on a board under Glenn's supervision, the way he handles the meetings, the way he discusses things, the way he has integrity, allows for there to be a conversation. I think that that's one of the most important pieces of a board. You don't always have to agree with each other, but you have to be able to have civil discourse and conversation, and that's the way it should, go through all of government, is to be able to have those conversations. They're important matters that everyday people aren't thinking about, and we're having a deep conversation about water infrastructure or dump trucks. And you have to be able to share ideas and really have that conversation. And with both of these folks, Glenn leading those conversations, Colleen contributing really smart ideas. I call her my numbers lady. So I'm excited to be serving again with both these folks, and I hope you'll support us.
Robin is a dream. I have to say, coming on this board, she is a person that, when they always say, give this job to the busiest person, it's Robin. And she comes through 110%. She's enthusiastic, gets involved in everything. She just nails it, It is an honor to work with them. It enlightens me every time we meet.
I'm truly excited about the opportunities going forward. I enjoy working with Colleen and Robin, and we are running both on the Democratic and Independent petitioning and party lines, which we feel is important to try to be as inclusive as we can. All three of us, I think, bring unique backgrounds and perspectives to the community. Robin has tremendous passion, as Colleen mentioned, and has some great vision and ideas. Colleen is a great resource. She's been here in the community all her life. She knows the pulse of the community. She cares about the constituents. When somebody says something to Colleen, she follows up on it, and that's important. And she cares. Both Robin and Colleen are dedicated and passionate. They put in the time. We enjoy working with each other. We enjoy debating sometimes with each other, and we also bring. I think we have some fun working together, and that's the vision. That's the intention of how we hope to move forward in the next election cycle.
Every single day, we are being approached by people. We are working. It isn't something that we go to a meeting once a month and that's it. I think every single day, we are working on projects. Community has questions. We're researching. We stay very busy.
And I think we're making some progress.
Absolutely. Look at how much, we've got accomplished already. I mean, it's amazing.
So an exciting project that we are implementing soon here in Middletown is an emergency communication system so that we can reach residents in case there is major flooding or a water advisory. So you'll be able to sign up for text alerts or email alerts or even the landline. You can get a voicemail on your phone, and we're going to be handing out these flyers today. This will be shared on the website as well as the Facebook. You can text 77295 Middletown Alert, and it will automatically sign you up for text alerts in Middletown.
And Robin's done a great job of researching and finding the right company to go with, and we're really proud of this, but Robin had a lot to do with this.
Thanks.
And this is a resource that we hear a lot about, and when there's a situation, an emergency, and it doesn't have to be a major flood event, but other road closures, major power outages where people want information, this will be a good resource for us. So we're excited to get this implemented. So sign up. For this to be successful, we need everybody to sign up.